Hi there, Sandra here from the Schwowin's Nest. Thanks for stopping by to see what I'm up to. Today I am working with these three wooden pumpkins that I picked up at Dollarama. They were $1.50 each. They're really nice and thick and they stand up on their own, but unfortunately they are covered with glitter. I'm using my Dollar Tree scraper and just peeling off the label on the top. Then I'm going to give them all a quick sanding just to smooth down the surface. I'm using white DIY chalk paint to paint the front, the back, and the sides. If you're interested in that recipe, it's down in my description box. While I wait for the pumpkins to dry, I've got these two pieces of scrap wood that I'm going to glue together with a product called No More Nails. It's from LePage. You can get it in a tube like this, or you can get it in a caulking gun style, and it's basically the toughest glue you can ever find. It does what it says. You don't need nails for this. This will hold it together. However, I do clamp things down when I'm using this product. So I'm just going to spread out the glue at the bottom. I will then spread it out a little bit more so it's more evenly spaced all over the wood, and then I'm going to clamp the two pieces together and let it fully dry. Before I move on to the next step, I wanted to share with you that this video is part of a challenge hosted on a monthly basis by Christi over at Christi Creates. If you haven't seen Christi's channel yet, please go down into my description box and click on that link. Make sure you go check it out, subscribe to her channel, and give her some support. Christi's co-host for this challenge is Wendy from White Sparrow Living. Again, another amazing creator. Please check out her channel, subscribe, and tell her I sent you. I'm using folk art chalk paint in the color Maui Sand. It's a beautiful deep gray color and I just love it. Look how thick that paint is. It really covers nicely. Most of the time I can get everything covered in one coat. So I'll definitely be checking out more folk art colors in the future. I'm using a small artist brush and I'm going to paint the stem, but I'm also going to just do a really jagged edge down where the stem meets the pumpkin just to make it look more realistic. I'm going to start creating some little arcs in the pumpkin to mimic the grooves that you see in the pumpkins. Try and make it a little bit more three-dimensional looking. Using the same brush, without dipping it into the paint again, I'm just dry brushing around the edges to make the lines look more blended. Once I had completed this step on all the pumpkins, I thought that the gray was a little too dark. So I'm just taking a little bit of white paint and going over it, blending it in a little bit more. Once you're done watching my video, I would appreciate it if you go down to my description box, click on that playlist link. You are sure to be inspired by all of the creators participating. To give these pumpkins a little bit more dimension and make them look even more 3D, I'm using this chippy brush and the same gray paint, and I'm going in the direction of the pumpkin shapes. This is just going to help it look a little bit more realistic. After they were distressed, I still found that those gray lines were a little bit too bright. So I'm taking another color, it's sort of a taupe color, and I'm going over the lines and blending them out even more. And you can see that it just is making such a difference. I'm also going to be using this brush and color just to dry brush a little bit more color onto the rest of the pumpkin as well. I used the same color to dry brush the stems. I've got 3 of these pumpkins, so I've decided to write the words grateful, thankful, and blessed. And I'm going to start by penciling the lines in. I don't ever start at the beginning of the word. I tend to start at the end of the word and work my way backwards. I'm not really sure why. It just is a system that I figured out and it works for me. I'm using my all-time favorite paint pen. This is black Craft Smart oil-based paint pen in a chisel tip. I'm just going to go through my letters, write them all down, and then I'm going to come back and fill in the spaces where I want them to be thicker. If you're not comfortable doing freehand lettering, there's lots of other ways that you could get the letters on your projects. First of all, you could find some stickers and stick them on. Secondly, I like to use stencils a lot of the time, but I don't have any stencils that have this type of font style, so that's why you see me doing this freehand. You can also print the word off from your computer and then trace it onto your projects. Lately, I have been adding some little shadow lines to all of my words. And the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of the farmhouse fonts and stencils have extra shadowing letters on them. It just makes them look a little bit more high end and more professional. This isn't a special marker, it just happens to be a black fine tip marker that I have, and it works great. I'm just taking a little dry brush that's a sort of a fan shape, dipping it into that taupey gray color and just doing a little bit of dry brushing on top of the letters to make them look not so brand new. With this next step, I totally forgot to turn my camera on, but it's pretty simple. I have this little buffalo check ribbon from Walmart and I cut a piece off and hot glued it around the stem. I'm going to add a little bit of greenery to the pumpkins. This is sort of a lamb's ear look, but it's a boxwood leaf. And I'm just going to trim the little stem and then hot glue it onto the pumpkin. Then I grabbed another little piece of the buffalo check ribbon and cut it in a dovetail shape at one end and then hot glued it onto each of the pumpkins just to give it a little bit more of a cute look. I really love the black and white buffalo check. I normally don't do bows and ribbons, but I think it really fits in this piece. So it's been a couple hours and the base is completely dry. So what I'm going to do now is use hot glue and just pop those pumpkins right on top. And I'm going to put 2 at the bottom, right on the edge, and I'm going to put 1 on the top layer. Now I'm going to add a little bit more greenery. I've got some little pine cones from the Dollar Tree that I'm going to add in. And I also have another little green pumpkin that I'm going to play around with and stick him on as well. I have to say that I think this is one of my favorite projects that I've done this season. Look at how cute that is. I'd like to thank Christi and Wendy for hosting the challenge today. If you like this kind of content, I'd love for you to stick around a while. Hit that subscribe button. The 2 black arrows will show you exactly where to click. You can also like, comment, and share my videos. Thank you so much for your support. See you in the next one.